What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? DoctorDDub here, and welcome back to another FarmFolks video. You might have thought today we'd be covering the dev blog number 2 that was released, but I think I've decided, and I say I think I've decided because I'm totally not determined yet on it. There's not always going to be enough content in those dev blogs to really make a whole video out of it, or at least to the level that I feel like I need to make those videos. It's a lot of work to make those videos, and I don't really know if it's worth doing it for such little content. So I won't always be doing them, but instead, today, we're doing something a little different. We're actually going to be taking a look at Port Meridia, which is not at all meant to be accessible yet. But I have weaseled my way into it, and we're going to take a look through it. Keep in mind, though, before we go into this, that it is changed drastically, which I will show you guys kind of some progress updates on it towards the end. But for now, we're going to kind of go through this as it is in the build we currently have, 0.0.1.22. I'm showing you this area right now because this is kind of where you might be able to access Port Meridia from eventually. Not right now. But I'll just cut to a little clip real quick of me falling down this hole, just so you can kind of get some reference as to where we are. But if you walk around this area, and eventually this lift will be functional, I believe, or at least that's the goal. And then if we cut back to up here, it will take you up to right here. That is the area. You can even see the button down there at the very bottom. That is the lift that will raise you up. You can even see the mechanism for it. There's two little gears there and a track for those gears, which I think should have like some grooves in them, because those look like gears and they need to latch into something. But anyway, that's not why we're here. Let's jump back across this. And yeah, so this will be kind of a shortcut to get to Port Meridia from the farm. It is a little bit of a trek. And you'll notice, like I said, we're in a very unfinished part of the game. It's not meant to be even accessible yet, so you're going to see some stuff and be like, why the heck did they go with that? That looks terrible. It's because they're not done with it yet. It's very much not finished. Point A would be those cliffs directly in front of me. They're sheer green, and they go straight down. Also, the water texture, I hope, changes one of these days. You can see about, like, right where my head's at, the top of my head, the texture, like, speeds up and, like, bends and warps around. It's very strange looking. But anyway, we're going to be seeing a lot of strange looking things today, but that's kind of fun. And obviously this is going to be much more casual than my highly edited videos. I felt like doing a chill, just kind of play around in FarmFolks and talk about it while I do it. And I've got some information on the town as well, and like I mentioned, I've got some screenshots as to how it currently looks. But I already showed you a little sneak peek of it, but we're going to round the corner here, and you're going to see the beautifulness, I use that word very, very lightly, that is Port Meridia. It's pretty cool looking, though. Right here, we've got a little one-sided bridge. I say it's one-sided because it's... yeah, anyway. These fences... oh, these fences you can't walk through. There's other fences in the game that you totally can, like, walk right through. But yeah, this is Port Meridia. Like I said, the layout has totally changed. It's not as big now, I don't believe. It's been condensed a little bit. But we're going to go through these buildings together. Not all of them, but some of them. And not all of what you see here is Port Meridia. Port Meridia kind of ends, like with these houses here. All the little, I don't even know what they're supposed to be. Windmills, maybe eventually? Up on the hilltops there, and then everything like on that side of the port, I don't believe is technically part of Port Meridia. Oh man, you can't walk on that? Oh, it's so cool looking. I haven't explored all of this actually, so we're gonna get some first impressions together, which would be cool. So this is the dock. I don't know wow, it's got some nice little Z fighting going on there. I don't know the best way to do this. I don't know if I should be cutting back and forth to what it looks like now versus what it looks like currently. I don't know. Yeah, we'll go back and forth a little bit. So right here, this is the nice little shot, and then this right here is kind of a similar angle of what it looks like now. It's quite a bit different. Yeah, quite a bit. And actually, you know what? That's a little teaser. We're just gonna stay in game because me in the future can't talk through the video that I haven't edited yet to know what I'm gonna be showing. It's interesting how there's bridges everywhere too. But oh, and these are more one-sided textures. The little signpost thing disappears from the other side. It's very odd. But it looks like we've got some houses here. And even a little fireplace. This is how they kind of do the layout of the town and stuff. They just kind of block it out. This is all stuff that's done in the game engine. So there's been zero artistic flair added on top of anything. It's literally just using the engine's capabilities to block stuff out and kind of put things where they're going to eventually go. This just looks like a bunch of houses, maybe shops. They all have signs out front. So maybe there'll be shops eventually. There's only one building I've been in so far that actually has an interior, and it looks like these were just kind of copy-pasted. For now, at least, they all have a very similar, if not identical, layout. But this building right here is the only one that has somewhat of an interior, and we'll do a quick run around first. This is what will be eventually the Dial Distribution Center, or their warehouse. Ashima and Ravandar, the two T-pose NPCs that are on your farm and have been there for quite a few updates now. They are the Dial Distribution duo, and this is their warehouse. And you can tell that because of all the boxes. Oh my gosh. This would be one mean game of hide and seek. Peekaboo, I see you. That's not creepy at all. All right. But yeah, they've even got like a second upper level, and the camera and stuff will not behave like it currently does, where you can see your eyeballs and stuff. It'll be better than that. But like I said, this is totally not meant to even be played in, but here we are anyway. So, and it looks like they've got some chimneys on some of these buildings. I don't know why, but that's basically that building. Not too much to it, but again, all unfinished. But it's the only one that I could find, at least, that actually has an interior, which is kind of neat. And can I get up here, please? Pretty please? Maybe. Oh. I'm going to try not to die jumping on something. Oh my gosh, there's a textured building. Whoa. I haven't seen this. I got to this area from the beach over here, and apparently terrain doesn't render in from this far or something. There's the terrain. That's funny. I don't think... Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if we've ever had a large enough play area to test render distance. So at that distance, it disappears, which is fascinating. At least I find it fascinating. And then more random bridges placed around everywhere. But yeah, this is kind of the look that I'm assuming some of these houses will have, or something similar. This actually... Obviously the windows haven't been done. Any of this kind of gray and black texture, that's all just kind of in-engine stuff. And for those that don't know what that means, like the engine versus what you're seeing, basically Ethan, their artist, creates all these meshes and basically paints them on top of textures to... That's like the very most simplistic description I can give. I don't know how to best describe it. I don't do game design. I just break game design and access areas that I'm not supposed to be in and make videos on them because I can, and it's fun. But yeah, this is the bulk of Port Meridia. There's not a whole lot here, like I mentioned, but it looks like the whole port side of it is going to be kind of cool. And I actually wonder, I'm trying to think to how it is like today, like the day I'm recording this, there's been a lot more work done. This build is almost a month old, and there's a lot of stuff that's changed in that time. I know Eliana, who was originally hired on as the sound engineer, doing all the music. Actually, the music you're hearing right now is by her. But this building right here, very much placeholder, because what's there now looks leaps and bounds better. But whenever we reference the town hall later, keep in mind where this is at, and what it looks like now, and how much different it has become. It's quite impressive. But yeah, that's pretty much Port Meridia. I would go over there, but I've actually tested that already. There's a whole lot of nothing to see, and I wanted to cross the bridge, but just like this bridge right here, or dock, whatever you'd call it, you can't do anything with it. You can, you go right through it. So that is the same case for that bridge. I think it looks like an actual bridge, if I remember correctly, but you just can't walk on it. So that's unfortunate. But it looks like it's getting dark now. So I guess we'll take this opportunity to cut to the new footage. I say footage. The rest of this video is actually probably going to be screenshots for the most part. So let's hop over to that and take a look at how much different this looks now. Just to give you guys kind of an idea of the direction it's heading in and where we can expect to see it just with each new update. Lots of work is being done, and if this is where it was a month ago, I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's done. So let's hop on over to the new stuff. All right, welcome to the future. This is quite a bit different looking. Well, not really. This shot's not that drastically different, but you can tell things have definitely changed. There is now an aqueduct in the corner, which is kind of freaking cool looking. It looks like it's been cracked and water spilling out of it, which is totally different. Things have labels too, you'll notice as we go through these clips. Some of them are very obvious, like this is Port Meridia. Very easy to tell that. But others, like Gilbert's, it looks like Gilbert's Goods, maybe? In the background, I say maybe, it's 100% Gilbert's Goods. There's another sign in another one of these shots that is a much more clear angle of it, but you can tell this is, the bridge is gone. But yeah, this is kind of the area we walked in from, down into Port Meridia at the very beginning of the video. Right here is a closer up shot of the aqueduct, which is so cool looking. It looks like it's under construction to fix that crack, which I think is really neat. And the player down there is included for scale. And I think that's just freaking cool because you look so incredibly tiny compared to this monstrosity. I'm interested to see what the aqueduct ends up doing, because typically an aqueduct is used to take water to places that do not have water. In this case, it looks like it's being pulled from some maybe mountain spring or something and running down into the ocean, which is a little odd. Or maybe it's being pumped up from this side and we can't tell and being fed the other direction. I'm not sure. I'm thinking of it from a functional perspective. But regardless, it looks really cool. And even if it doesn't fit functionally, I think it should totally stay because I think it just looks awesome. And you'll still see these structures in the distance. I don't know what those are going to be. Like I mentioned, I think some of them might eventually be windmills. This one in the back here, though, I'm going to guess will be a lighthouse. It just seems like the perfect spot, and it's giant, and it's on its own island, and I don't know. That just seems like it would fit. Here's another angle of kind of what we were just looking at, but totally not at the same time. And it also shows the textures that we'll be seeing. A little bit of the wood textures to replace what we had. And I think this looks really nice. It looks very port-like. And I don't know why it's all run down. Again, this is still incredibly placeholder. Or maybe not so much placeholder, but obviously the gray stuff is still placeholder. But some of the stuff, it's still so early on. Everything is subject to change. But you'll also notice the warehouse in the back here has been completely moved. From what I can tell, that is the same warehouse that we walked in earlier. However, it's been totally relocated. They uplifted it from over here off to the left all the way over, and it's tucked right next to the aqueduct now, which I think makes much more sense, especially since you've got a crate here. A crane here to lift crates up onto the upper level, perhaps, and then they could move those over. Hopefully they patch up some of the dock first, or the pier, or whatever you'd call this whole area, because otherwise they're totally going to be getting caught on all the little holes and stuff. But you'll also notice that there's a post office, the same post office that I featured in last Weekly Dev blog. Now that Mitch is making artwork for the game, he's got his little post box right in front of there, which is nice and cool. And then we've got an inn to the left of that, and then I think next door to that is a cafe. I think one of the other shots will detail it a little bit more. I don't know. But I don't know what else these little awnings would be, these little covered awnings. They seem very much like they could be for a cafe, but I guess we will find out. Here's another angle of kind of what we were just looking at. You can actually see this building right here in the bottom left-hand corner is what is the back side, or the back right-hand side, of what will eventually be Town Hall, which I will show you guys some cooler shots of that here in just a sec. And then something else up on the cliff here that I didn't mention in the last shot. You can see it there as well, but it's a radio station. It's a little bit more clear in this shot. I think that's cool. Maybe you'll have a radio that you can tune into to listen to different music or something. That's totally, totally not confirmed. But you can also see right here, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but there's a cafe off to the right. And I think that's I think that's the building we were looking at, but it's hard to tell because that was the cafe, right? Because that's the warehouse. And then you had the post office right here. And then what I thought was the cafe. And then this is the back side of that. You've got Gilbert's Goods. This is the shot I was talking about where it's a little bit more clear. I'm assuming that'll be both of these buildings. And then a clothier. Or a clothier. You can buy clothes here, which will be cool. So I don't know if we'll be able to change our outfits periodically or at any moment we want, just on a whim. That'd be cool. And then I don't know what these buildings are going to be, kind of lining this sort of town square section. But I can imagine that some festivals might take place here? ? It seems like any farming sim ever. Town Hall or Town Square is like the place for festivals. But that's pretty much it for this shot. You can see the crane in the background as well. Not much else has changed. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so yes, indeed, that is the cafe. I was hypothesizing. I'm not sure. This is actually, I believe, an older build. You can see the dock is a little bit different. It doesn't have any of the wood textures. This area over here, though, I'd like to see this stay if it's not currently planned. It looks really cool with the whole pipes and crates in the water. I don't know what happened. Who so carelessly was handling crates to cause all this damage and drop crates in the water and stuff. But this shot doesn't show too much new stuff other than some rocks and then a little opening in the walkway here, which is kind of cool. But this shot here shows a little bit more. It's the same kind of angle, just from same content, just from a different angle. One thing that excites me about this, there's a couple things that excite me about this. This little waterfall coming out of underneath the placeholder manta ray statue, that just sounds cool. It kind of flows out, and I don't know where this is coming from. Maybe it's river water being redirected. But the thing that I'm most excited about, not even Town Hall, because these all look different. I don't exactly know the chronological progression of these shots. I could have totally looked that up ahead of time, but I didn't. It doesn't matter. It's all changing. But this is an old, unmodeled version of Town Hall, which kind of looks cool, but you can see there isn't really that whole town square in front of it. There's still a little bit of an open area, but it's not blocked in on the left and right-hand sides by other buildings, unlike that last shot we looked at. But my favorite thing in this shot is this little door down here. I don't know if that's going to lead into like a sewer system or what have you, but it looks really cool, and there's a person there for scale, I think that's a person. Either way, they look really tiny in this shot, but that is something that might potentially, mayhaps, lead into a sewer? Maybe? That'd be cool. I don't know. That's just my guess. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Town Hall. This is made in Blender. This actually isn't in game yet. or heck, it might be. I just don't know it. It's not in the build that we have, that's for sure. But this looks so much cooler than that blocked out building. It's got a little balcony on the front, nice kind of rounded steps leading up to it, and we even have an interior to go with it, which is kind of cool. There's a couple things in here that are worth noting. It's kind of hard to read, but right there in the center, you can read it says meeting hall. It looks like a large open kind of city council, almost like United Nations type meeting council chambers type thing. It looks really neat. I'm hoping that gets used for a couple different cutscenes and events related to the city. I even suggested, and I don't know if this will happen or not, but I'm just going to say it here because I think it'd be cool. When you first show up to the farm, you basically just hold out a piece of paper that Gilbert gave you and show it to Snodgrass, and he's like, all right, cool, you own the farm. I think it'd be cool if you had to, like, come here. He's like, all right, you can stay here for the night, but, you know, come meet me at the meeting hall tomorrow, and we'll make it official. And you'd have to come here and, like, sign a document or something, and it's a good way to force you to go to town, to force you to kind of meet some more people, perhaps. And it actually is a little bit more official than just, oh, you have a letter from the old guy that lives here that says you own this place now. Cool. It's all yours. Like, it's not a deed. It's not anything. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, here you can see there's actually been a little bit more detail as well. The pillars in the front, there's like a little balcony area as well, which I think looks kind of cool. And then there's a trade and commerce section off to the side. I know there's going to be more rooms. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going to be where. This is far from a finished layout, and heck, this might all even change, so don't get too set on this, but it's cool to see the progress that's being made, if you ask me. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all there is to FarmFolks Port Meridia currently. It's in very rough form now, and as those screenshots showed, it's got some progress that's been made. It's pretty exciting stuff. I'm so excited to get to run around in here when it's actually, like, ready for us to play, because this is totally not. Like I said, I kind of weaseled my way in here. Not supposed to be here right now, but oh well. I'm here, so I'm going to show it off, because it's cool, and I feel like people need to know. But again, final disclaimer, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I feel like I need to, just in case. Actually, let's go up here while we end. This is all subject to change. It's very rough around the edges. Nothing is finished. Do not take this as the full game. Blah, 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 blah. It says right up at the top. It's a pre-alpha. So, okay, whoever's house this is has a sweet view if and when they ever get windows. But they would totally have a sweet view of the lake, which just looks so cool. But we'll worry about that another time, because Port Meridia is our subject for today. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have any questions about Port Meridia, what it's gonna do, who's gonna live there, or whatever, ask away. I don't know if we even have answers for those questions yet, but I would love to start theorizing. I love doing that kind of stuff. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. And until then, as always, take care.